Dear friends, here in this class, in this session, we discuss next topic in chapter reproduction in organisms. Already we completed explanation about the asexual reproduction. In this session, mainly we discuss about the events in sexual reproduction. Here, when we discuss events in sexual reproduction. Events in sexual reproduction. The total events occurs during sexual reproduction are categorized into three groups. One is pre-fertilization events, fertilization events, third, post-fertilization events. Okay, so these are the three different category or events occurs during the sexual reproduction. As we know that main important characteristic of fertilization, main important characteristic of sexual reproduction is fertilization. Before the fertilization, what the events occurs in sexual reproduction, all those things comes under the pre-fertilization events, and after the fertilization, what the events occurs, they comes under the post-fertilization events. Here first we discuss about the pre-fertilization events, next we discuss about the fertilization as well as the post-fertilization events. Here pre-fertilization events. Here we discuss about the pre-fertilization events. Here gametogenesis, and gamete transfer. Gametogenesis and gamete transfer, these two are comes under the pre-fertilization events. Here the first one is gametogenesis. Name itself indicate that what it is. Gametogenesis means, genesis means formation, production. It is the process of formation of gametes. Gametogenesis, it is the pre-fertilization event. During gametogenesis, gametes are produced in reproductive organs. Organism produce the gametes. So the process of formation of gametes is called gametogenesis, and after the formation of gametes, for the purpose of fertilization, those gametes are transferred. That we discuss next. First we discuss gametogenesis. We know that it is the process of formation of gametes. Gametes are basically categorized into two groups as male gametes and female gamete. Male gamete as well as the female gamete. Here in animals, male gametes are referred as sperms, whereas in the female gamete is called egg or ovum. Male gamete is a sperm and female gamete is egg or ovum. Okay, when we observe these gametes in different organisms, gametes are categorized or classified into two groups as isogametes isogametes, and another group is said to be anisogametes. Thus, isogametes also referred as homogametes, anisogametes also referred as heterogametes. What are isogametes? Iso, same, similar type of gametes. Okay. On what basis we are explaining or we are understanding they are same? The gametes, the male and female gametes which are morphologically similar, they are isogametes. Means, for example, say this is male gamete and this is female gamete. This is male gamete. Say this is female gamete. Even though the gametes are belongs to two different sexuality, that is male and this gamete belongs to female, but morphologically they are similar. The male and female gametes which are similar in their morphology, such type of gametes are said to be isogametes, and fusion of such type of gametes means fusion of isogametes is called isogamy. These type of gametes are commonly produced by the lower organism, commonly found in the algae. Example, Cladophora produces the isogametes which are also referred as homogametes. Another type of gametes, anisogametes, means not similar type of gametes. On what basis they are dissimilar? Morphologically they are dissimilar. Male and female gametes, when they are dissimilar in their morphology, they are said to be anisogametes. Their morphology is not similar. For example, say here this is the sperm, it is male gamete, and this is egg, female gamete. Here you are observing this is male gamete and this one is the female gamete. They are morphologically dissimilar. They are morphologically not same. Because of this reason, when gametes are male and female gametes are dissimilar in their morphology or they show morphological dissimilarities, such type of gametes are called anisogametes or heterogametes. These are the different types of gametes: isogametes, anisogametes. Morphologically similar, male and female gametes are morphologically similar. Anisogametes or heterogametes, morphologically they are dissimilar. Very basic, simple explanation. Now next, we discuss about the sexuality in organisms. Sexuality in organisms. With respect to the gametogenesis, we are discussing about the gametogenesis only. So here we are discussing about the sexuality in organisms. When we observe the sexuality in organisms, they are classified into two groups as monoecious and second group dioecious. Monoecious is also said to be bisexual. Dioecious is also referred as unisexual. Okay, monoecious means what? You try to understand this. For example, this is an organism. This organism possesses male reproductive organ, and similar organism possess female reproductive organ. That means a single organism possess both male and female reproductive organ. such type of organisms are said to be bisexual. Means bisexual. Two sexes are present. Because of this reason, bisexual. Why it is monoecious? Mono, single organism. Mono, single organism possess both the reproductive organs. So it is monoecious. Here monoecious refers to the bisexual, means single organism possess both the reproductive organs, male and female reproductive organs, then it is called monoecious or bisexual. There are many plants which are bisexual in nature. Very good example, hibiscus. It is bisexual because it comprises the male reproductive organ androecium and female reproductive organ gynoecium in single flower. There are some animals. Very good example, earthworm. Animal, to refer bisexual animals, there is a particular technical word, hermaphrodite. Hermaphrodite. Hermaphrodite means what? Animal, bisexual animal is called hermaphrodite. Very good example, earthworm. So here monoecious, bisexual, here single organism possess both the reproductive organs, male and female reproductive organs. It is bisexual, monoecious. Hermaphrodite, this word is strictly applicable to animals, bisexual animals. Very good example, earthworm. Even for animals we can use bisexual word also, but technically this is hermaphrodite. Okay, next dioecious or unisexual. What is the meaning of dioecious and unisexual? You try to understand this. Here this is one organism. Here we have another organism. This organism possesses reproductive organ, only one reproductive organ, that is male reproductive organ. And this is the another organism. Here it possesses female reproductive organ. In this organism we are not observing female reproductive organ. In this organism we are not observing the male reproductive organ. That means single organism possess or comprises or having single reproductive organ. So here this is the male organism, it possesses male reproductive organ. This is the female organism, possess only female reproductive organ. That means these are unisexual organism with the single sex, either the male or this is the female. Here single organism represented with the single sex, it is said to be the unisexual. Here male organism is different and female organism is different. So these are said to be unisexual because they possess the single sex. Why they are dioecious? To represent the separate sex, we have separate organism here. Two separate organism represents the male and female sex organs or the male and female reproductive organs. Because of this reason, dioecious. Dioecious means unisexual. So like that here, monoecious as well as the dioecious. Here we have another one word. Homothallic. And we have next one is heterothallic. Homothallic and heterothallic. These words we use commonly to refer sexuality in fungi. These words we commonly use to refer the sexuality in fungi. Homothallic means monoecious or bisexual fungus is called homothallic. Unisexual or dioecious fungus is called heterothallic. Homothallic, bisexual means it comprises single thallus, single fungus possess both the reproductive organs, male and female reproductive organs. It is homothallic. Whereas heterothallic, here this is the fungal organism, this is the fungus. Here male and female fungi are separate. single fungal organism represented with the single sex. So male is represented with male fungus and female reproductive organ is represented with the female fungus organism. So like that here, heterothallic and homothallic, commonly these words we use to refer the fungi. Here this we use to refer the animal. Here these are commonly we used to refer the plants. Even bisexual is the word we use to refer the animals also. Here for animals we use unisexual. So like that here this is about the sexuality in organisms. Now we discuss about the cell division with respect to gametogenesis. During gametogenesis, what type of cell division occurs? Basically, very commonly gametes are haploid. Male gamete, it is haploid. Even female gamete, it is also haploid. Okay, supposed to be organism, parental organism is haploid. Parental organism, body of the organism is haploid, and this organism produce the haploid gametes. Here body of the organism, parental organism is, body cells are haploid, and such type of haploid organism produce the haploid gametes only. Then what type of cell division occurs? Here mitosis occurs, because already the body of organism having the single set of organism and there is no chance to further reduce the number of chromosomes. Because of this reason here mitosis occur, equational cell division occur. Here haploid gametes are produced in haploid cell containing, body cell containing organisms. What happens in the diploid organism? For example, here body cells are diploid, means they comprises 2n number of chromosomes. Body cells comprises 2n number of chromosomes. So here these organisms produce the haploid gametes. Haploid gametes. Now observe this one. Body cells comprises diploid set of chromosome, 2n number of chromosome, but gametes are haploid. Then here which type of cell division occurs? Meiosis. A reductional cell division occurs. That means haploid organism produce the haploid gametes by the mitosis, whereas diploid organism produce the gametes by haploid gametes by meiosis. Here with respect to the diploid organisms, in a diploid organism body cells comprises 2n number of chromosomes. These body cells when enter into the meiosis, they produce haploid gametes. We understood this much. Now the body cells which enter into the meiosis to produce haploid gametes, those are called gamete mother cells. Try to understand once again. In a diploid organisms, body cells which enter into the meiosis to produce haploid gametes, these are called gamete mother cells. These gamete mother cells These gamete mother cells are diploid. They comprises 2n number of chromosome and they enter into the meiosis. These are also called, gamete mother cells are also called meiocytes. Meiocytes are nothing but gamete mother cells. They are diploid in nature. They enter into the meiosis, and after meiosis haploid gametes are produced. That means the body cells which enter into the meiosis to to produce haploid gametes are said to be the gamete mother cells, and another name for gamete mother cells, myocytes. So this is about the cell division with respect to gametogenesis. Next we discuss another event, another pre-fertilization event, nothing but gamete transfer. We discuss about the gamete transfer. Okay, when we observe the gamete transfer, particularly organisms which are mainly adapted to aquatic condition, in these organisms male and female gametes are released into the external medium, very commonly water, and there they performs the external fertilization. For example, algae. In algae, male gametes and female gametes are directly released into the water, and in water they fuse, they performs the fertilization. So here water, aquatic medium play very important role in the transfer of gametes, whereas in some of the organisms like bryophytes and pteridophytes, fertilization, transfer of gametes requires the water, and here in these organisms male gametes are motile and the female gamete is not motile. Male gametes are motile, and through aquatic medium, through water, they reach the female gamete and perform the fertilization. So here this type of phenomena is occur, and male gametes are motile, female gametes are non-motile. Male gametes move towards the archegonia. Inside the archegonium there is a presence of female gamete, and they enter into the archegonium and performs the fertilization in bryophytes and pteridophytes. Whereas in angiosperm, see, in angiosperm what happens? Here roughly we will draw the diagram of a flower. Okay, you try to understand, this is the flower. Here ovules are present. This is stamen. Okay, you try to understand this. Here stamens comprises the anther. This anther produce pollen grains. Here anthers produce the pollen grains. Pollen grain, it is also referred as microspore. This pollen grain contains male gametes. Male gametes are present within the pollen grains. Pollen grains are transferred from anther to stigma. When pollen grains transfer from anther of a flower to the stigma of same flower, self-pollination. If a stigma receives the pollen grain from different flower located in a different plant, it is said to be cross-pollination. Details of self and cross-pollination given in the second chapter, that is the sexual reproduction in flowering plants. There we discuss in detail. Here pollen grains transfer from anther to stigma. compatible pollen grains start to germinate. See here, pollen grain, and inside the pollen grain here male gametes are present. Compatible pollen grain means the suitable pollen grains when deposited over the stigma, that compatible pollen grain start to germinate, means this pollen grain start to produce the tube, and this tube is called pollen tube, and this pollen tube enter into the stigma, style, and it enters into the ovary, and inside it reach the ovule, and it enter into the ovule. Inside the ovule egg is located, and here male gamete fuses with the female gamete to performs the fertilization, and here in angiosperm double fertilization is occur. Okay, so here one male gamete fuses with the egg, another male gamete fuses with the secondary nucleus. Like this here in angiosperm, through pollination and with the help of pollen tube, gametes are transferred. Here through pollen tube, gametes are transferred from pollen grain to the ovule. Because of this reason, here this phenomena is called syphnogamy. When male gametes are transferred through the pollen tube, such type of phenomena say syphnogamy. What is this syphnogamy? Here male gametes are reach the ovule with the help of pollen tube, and here male gametes reach the female gamete with the help of pollen tube. This phenomena is called syphnogamy. Siphon means tube. That means here the male gametes are transferred near to the female gamete located within the ovule with the help of pollen tube. Because of this reason, this is syphnogamy. When we observe the next concept in animals, in fishes and amphibians, male and female gametes are released in water. They are released in maximum number, and within the aquatic medium fertilization occurs. In aquatic medium there is a fertilization occur. In water medium fertilization occurs. In reptiles, birds and mammals, male possess specialized copulatory organs. Through copulatory organs, male releases male gametes into the genital tract or the reproductive tract of female. For example, with respect to the humans, here rough structure of a female reproductive system. Okay, already I explained this. Male possess specialized copulatory organs. With the help of copulatory organ, male releases male gamete into the reproductive tract of female, and egg is located within the fallopian tubule. It is also part of reproductive system. Then these sperms, male gametes, move towards the female gamete for the fertilization. And in animals, how the sperms moving towards the egg, the complete explanation given in the chapter number 3. Here in brief, male possess specialized copulatory organ. With the help of copulatory organ, at the time of mating, sexual mating. Here male releases the male gamete, nothing but sperms into the reproductive tract of a female, and these gametes are moving towards the egg because of chemical attraction. Then fertilization occur. These are the different mechanisms of gamete transfer with respect to the different organism, including plant as well as the animals. So this is about the gamete transfer. Here we discussed gametogenesis as well as the gamete transfer. So these two events comes under the pre-fertilization events. Here next we have fertilization events. Fertilization events. When we observe fertilization events, first, what is fertilization? Fusion of male and female gamete for the formation of zygote. Commonly, the process of fusion of haploid male gamete with the haploid female gamete for the formation of diploid zygote is called fertilization. Another word to refer fertilization is syngamy. Okay, when we observe different group of plants and animals, fertilization categorized into two types as external fertilization and internal fertilization. What is this external? What are these external and internal fertilization groups? We discuss. First we discuss about the external fertilization. See, when the fusion of gametes occurs outside the body of organism in a medium, such type of fertilization is called external fertilization. Fusion of gamete is occurring, but it is not occurring within the body of organism. It occurring outside the body of organism in the common natural medium. Commonly, water is the medium. External fertilization is the, we can say that it is the characteristic of aquatic organism, and here water is the medium. In this water medium, aquatic medium, male and female gametes are fused, that is outside the body of organism, external fertilization. Then what is this internal fertilization? Internal fertilization, here male and female gametes are fused within the body of organism. Here within the body of organism. Already while discussing about the gamete transfer, we discussed that male gamete reach the what is a female gamete. Female gamete is located within the body of female organism. Here male releases or male gametes enter into the body of female organism and they reach the female gamete and perform the fertilization. For example, say here in Archegonia, in bryophytes and the pteridophytes, say this is Archegonia. Within this Archegonium, female gamete is present, and here this is the body of bryophyte or the pteridophyte. This is the Archegonium. Within the Archegonium, here the female gamete egg is located, and here this is the male gamete. This male gamete reach the female gamete, fertilization occurs. That means here the fusion of male and female gamete takes place within the body of organism. Similarly, when we discuss the what is a higher organism, commonly terrestrial organism, this is the female reproductive system. Female reproductive system, and here female gamete is located in the fallopian tubules. Here male gametes are released into the reproductive tract by the male, and these male gametes reach the female gamete to perform the fertilization. That means here the fusion of male and female gamete takes place within the body of organism. This is said to be what? Internal fertilization. Okay, when we observe the external and internal fertilization is considered as superior than the external fertilization because of some aspects. What are those things? In external fertilization, organism has to produce more number of gametes, because in external fertilization, gametes are not fused within the body of organism. Gametes are fused outside the body of organism in external environment. Because of this reason, the chances of fusion are less due to water current or due to the flow of water, or because of the predatory animals which may destroy the gametes. Because of this reason, the organisms which are adapted with the external fertilization, they have to produce the more number of gametes, which is one type of burden on organism. And there is a lesser chance of fusion of gametes. May gametes fuse, may not be fused. And in external fertilization, gametes are released into the external environment. Because of this reason, gametes has to face the adverse or unfavorable conditions of the environment, maybe low temperature, maybe high temperature. Because of this reason, in many cases, gametes are not remain active or viable. Because of this reason, sometime fertilization may not be occur. And after the supposed to be successful fertilization occur, zygote is developed, and that zygote has to face the external environmental condition. That is a problem. And also sometime that zygote is very well exposed to the predatory animals, and that zygote may be destroyed by the predatory animals. These are the problems with respect to the external fertilization. But in the internal fertilization, fusion of gametes occurs within the body of organism. Because of this reason, gametes are safe and they are getting the gametic cells, getting the nourishment from the mother's body, organism's body. And next one is, and here chances of fusion of gamete is maximum compared to the external fertilization. Because of this reason, in internal fertilization, organism produce less number of gametes, and in internal fertilization there is no chance, there is no problem of predatory animals, as the gametes are present within the body of organisms. And here gametes are not facing the unfavorable environmental conditions. And even after the fusion fertilization, what the zygote is formed, that zygote is also remain safe within the body of organism. Because of this reason, internal fertilization is superior compared to the external fertilization. Okay, here we discuss the third event, post fertilization. Post-fertilization events include the zygote development and embryo genesis. Here, how this zygote first develop? During fertilization, male gamete fuses with the female gamete. By the fusion of male and female gamete, there is a formation of diploid cell, diploid structure. This is said to be the zygote. Like this here, zygote develop. Further, how this zygote grow? Commonly, zygote next develop into the embryo. In some of the organisms like algae, in unfavorable conditions, zygote develops the thick protective covering around the cell. This zygote develops the thick protective covering and enter into the rest. Now this stage of zygote is said to be zygospore. And whenever there is a reoccurrence of favorable conditions, in favorable condition, this zygote perform the cell division to become embryo. to become embryo. So this is the zygospore. In unfavorable condition, in some of the organisms like algae, zygote stop its development. It enter into the resting stage by developing thick protective covering around the cell. Now this stage of zygote is called zygospore. Whenever there is a reoccurrence of favorable conditions, in favorable conditions, this zygospore further become active, perform the cell division to become embryo. So here when we observe next what type of cell division occurs in zygote development, please remember every organism begins its life from single cell, that is zygote. We know that in nature there are some of the organisms, they are haploid, means their body cells are haploid, their somatic cells are haploid, and there are many organisms, many examples we can observe where the body cells are diploid. First we discuss haploid organisms. Haploid, in haploid organisms, haploid gametes are produced, male and female gametes are produced. These gametes fuse during fertilization and they develop the diploid zygote, but the parental body, but the organism's body is haploid. In such cases, this zygote undergoes the meiosis. It performs the meiosis and it produces the haploid spores. It produces the haploid spores, and these haploid spores further develop into the haploid organism. Commonly, this type of development occurs in the haplontic life cycle showing organisms. Haploid organisms. In haploid organisms, the diploid zygote is developed in this way. What about the diploid organisms? In diploid organisms, body cells, in diploid organisms, in 2n organisms, gametes are haploid, and we know that in these organisms, haploid gametes are produced because of meiosis. These gametes are fused to produce the zygote, which is diploid. Here there is no problem with the number of chromosome. During meiosis, what the number of chromosome reduced to n, from 2n it is reduced to n because of the fusion of male and female gametes in the zygote. Again the 2n is restored. There is no problem with the number of chromosomes. Because of this reason, here equational cell division occur, that is mitosis occur. Mitosis occur, and because of repeated and continuous mitosis, this single unicellular zygote develops into the multicellular embryo. Like this, here zygote development occurs in the organisms, and this is the brief information about the zygote development. Now next we discuss about the embryogenesis. Okay, what is embryogenesis? Development of unicellular zygote into multicellular embryo is called embryogenesis. The process of development of unicellular zygote into the multicellular embryo is called embryogenesis. Okay, when we observe the embryogenesis, first we discuss process of embryogenesis in plants. In plants, what happens after the fertilization in plants? Say ovary develops into the fruit and ovule develop into the seed in the plants. After the fertilization, during embryogenesis, In plants, ovary develops into the fruit, and mainly I am talking about the angiosperms here, and ovule develop into the seed. So like that here in plants, this phenomena embryogenesis occur, and unicellular zygote performs the mitosis to become multicellular embryo. So here this type of embryogenesis occurs in the plants. Next, when we discuss about the animals show different patterns of embryogenesis based on the embryogenesis or based on the development pattern of the organism, particularly animals classified into the three types, like oviparous animals, viviparous animals, and ovoviviparous animals. Okay, we discuss these three. First, oviparous animals. Here, what are these oviparous animals? In these oviparous animals, say here zygote develop. This zygote covered with the shell, commonly calcareous shell. Now this animal lay the eggs to the external environment, and inside this egg, what is present? Zygote is present. Okay, now this animal lay the egg to the external environment. Now this egg is facing external environment. This egg is not only contain zygote, it also contains some reserve food material. It is yolk. So this reserve food material supplies the nourishment to zygote. So because of this reason, within this egg, this zygote start the development, and zygote grows into the multicellular embryo. And when this embryo completely grow into the individual organism, individual animal, then egg hatch, egg break, whether it is a membranous or made up of calcareous shell, it break, and what the organism present inside this egg is released to the external environment as individual organism. Now you observe the second one. First, we discuss the basic concept of these three. Viviparous. Here, say this is the animal. Within the body of animal, zygote develop. This zygote is not released outside in the form of egg, but here mother organism maintain this zygote within the body, and not only it maintain the zygote within the body, also supplies the nourishment, also supplies the food required to this zygotic cell. So within the body of this mother organism, this zygote grows into the multicellular embryo. And within the body of organism, mother animal, this zygote develop into complete individual. Now finally, when the complete organism is grow within the body of mother organism, then mother organism gives birth to this animal. Now this, after the birth, this animal is become individual animal, separate individual independent organism. This is the second type. What it is? Viviparous. Now what happens in the ovoviviparous? Here, when we observe the OOVV paras, in OOVV paras, you try to understand this. Mother organism. Within the body of mother organism, there is a formation of zygote. Now observe this one. Here, this mother organism maintain the zygote within the body only, but the zygote is covered with some membrane. Now this is egg. The zygote is covered with the membrane. Now this is in the egg form. Now mother organism is maintained within the body, but do not provide any food or any nourishment to this zygote. This egg comprises reserve food material. By utilizing this reserve food material, this zygote grow. Mother do not supplies nourishment, but here in this case, mother supplies the nourishment. Mother supplies the essential food required for the growth of this zygote, that is in viviparous. But here you try to understand this one. Here zygote is enclosed within the egg, and egg comprises a reserve food material. Because of this reason, mother do not supply any type of nourishment to zygote within the body. Within the body of mother organism, what the zygote which is present within the egg is grow into the embryo. It grow into the multicellular embryo, and this embryo utilizing reserve food material which is packed within the egg, and afterwards within this egg organism, this embryo develop into the new organism, and this organism is released to the external environment. This mother organism gives the birth to the developed organism and released to the external environment. Like this here, OOVV paras. When we observe OOVV paras, it gives the idea that it is the combination of these two. Here, oviparous is the type of development where the zygote is packed or enclosed within the egg with reserve food material, and this egg is containing zygote is grow into the complete embryo and the individual in the external environment. Mother do not supplies the nourishment here, and even mother do not gives birth to the organism. By the hatching of eggs, completely developed, fully developed organism is released to the external environment. Whereas in the second case, viviparous case, mother gives birth to the fully developed individual. That means zygote is growing to complete organism within the body of mother organism by receiving nutrition. Whereas in the third case, zygote develop into the embryo and up to the complete individual within the body of mother organism without receiving nourishment. That is the what? Ovoviviparous. Here oviparous, we can say many of the examples, that is the reptiles and birds, they show oviparous development. Human shows viviparous development, and particularly rattlesnake shows the ovoviviparous type of development. This is the pattern of embryogenesis in animals. This is the brief information about the different group of animals with respect to embryogenesis. Here we have next concept. So this is about the three different events that takes place in sexual reproduction. So these are the three events. First one is pre-fertilization, second fertilization, and third one is post-fertilization. After the completion of this concept, here we have next concept. It is last concept in this chapter, parthenogenesis. What is parthenogenesis? Parthenogenesis, we can say that it is one type of modification of sexual reproduction. In parthenogenesis, female gamete, nothing but egg, directly develop into the organism without fertilization. Without fertilization, female gamete, egg is directly develop into the organism. It is said to be parthenogenesis. And please remember, parthenogenesis is a uniparental process. Here the egg directly grows into the organism. Commonly it is observed in honeybees or rotifers. So in such organisms we observe the parthenogenesis.